The Earnestly Speaking podcast is a show that is founded on free-flowing conversation and may at times venture into mature subjects. Listener discretion is advised.
Yeah, Earnestly Speaking podcast. Let's get it. I'm a giant in New York, in Miami carry heat. So much more in store, my product can flood the street. Opinion Nation Godfather, CEO. Puff in the late 90s, gon' see me blow. Oh, got my hustle on, no imitation of bad. Army of untouchables, Opinion Nation staff. Never an off season, homie, check the numbers. Heart throbbing my own right, supplying southern comfort. Earnestly speaking, my ego is well fed. Earnestly speaking, you're too evil and no threat. See, I'm like a hurricane, you're a mild breeze. Earnestly speaking, leaving Eli a dynasty. Shake!
Earthly Podcast, coming to you July 23rd, 2024. How you guys doing? You're probably wondering at the weird title of this episode today. It's a title, I Met Janet Jackson. We'll get to in a second. I met the Queen of Pop, in my opinion. Well, maybe the Queen of Pop. We'll see. But we're also going to have on our good friend Zack The Degenerate on the back end of the show. So we'll have a little bit of a not a double episode, but we have a guest on the episode. Normally we typically do these shows like if I do a solo show, it's a solo show itself, and the guest be a guest. But we're going to combine the two here today on this program. But yeah, so I told you guys last week, I'm not the solo. Well, I did a emergency podcast on Sunday, not that episode on Sunday because that was more about the Kamala Harris, Joe Biden leaving the race, and Kamala Harris is going to be presenting a nominee for the Democratic Party, which we'll talk to Zach in a second about that. But last week I told you guys that I had planned on seeing Janet Jackson in concert last Thursday, which did happen. I bought tickets for seats because the seats were cheaper than lawn at an amphitheater. And I got to tell you, if you follow me on social media, you'll see that the night to say I got lucky would be an understatement. The entire night was a great night. So I went to the show alone. My wife, we couldn't get a babysitter for the show, so I went alone. But I had a lot of friends that were going to be there at the show. I know one friend I have of mine that is he has passes for the amphitheater that he goes to all the shows. Shout out to my boy Jay Grow. And then my other friend Patrick was going to be there too. Coworker and friend Patrick was going to be at the show too. Would be at the show, and a couple of friends I that I plan on going to the show were going to be there as well too. So I bought seats for the show, but the intention was going to hang out on the lawn with my friends because that's what they got. So we ended up going to the lawn for the start of the show. Well, first off, Nelly was the opening act, and he canceled last minute. We speculated because of maybe his girl Shanti or his wife. I don't know if they're married. I don't follow Nelly's life and stuff, but Shanti, another famous singer, R&B singer, much more popular 20 years ago. Obviously, she's pregnant with his child, but whatever reason he canceled the show, I don't know what it is. We were speculating that no news about a birth yet with a baby. So I know that she's pregnant with his kid. So he's canceled. So they end up being a DJ covering that set, his spot on the show, which is fine. I want to see Nelly, but I wasn't broken heart about it because I'm there to see Janet. I mean, this is a bucket list for me. Janet Jackson. I've seen Michael in concert already for. I've seen Jackson 5 in concert for the Jackson 5 / Jacksons. Now I'm seeing Janet Jackson, bucket list. Dream come true happening here for me. So we're hanging out to the show. Janet starts the show, and we start the show on the lawn. And we watched the first half of the set on the lawn, which it was fine. You hear it fine. It wasn't the greatest seats in the world, but you can still see what's going on. You have the screen in front of us, so it's not a big deal. I was happy to be there. I can say I've seen Janet Jackson concert the whole night. And then I get text from my buddy Jay Grow, who's in the front, who's sitting literally from like 2-3 rows from the floor next to the stage. And he tells me that there's a couple of seats next to him that are open that no one's claimed, and that he can probably get some of us out there. Now, at the time in the lawn, there was my friend Patrick, my other good friend Diana, and her girlfriend was who I just met that night there at the show. And Jager was telling us that he can get probably about maybe 3 seats tops. So we said check in a little bit. About 20 minutes later, checked in, said I can get 3 tops. And so I asked Patrick, "Do you want to go down there to the floor?" We asked the girls to go down the floor, take a stab at it. The girls wanted to stay. They want to stay back, watch the show. They didn't want to go up close. They were just okay being on top of the lawn, which is fine. Patrick and I said, "You know what? Let's do this. Let's just do this. Let's go closer to the front row." So he went down first, get a drink. We end up going to the front row. With no problem. We had a buddy of ours who does the shows there, who does security and whatever at the amphitheater, and he got us in without a problem. So our seats ended up improving. If you follow me on Instagram or on social media, you'll notice that some of the footage some of the footage I was putting on social media, you notice that my seats ended up getting much bigger, much better. Like my first few videos I posted were further away from the stage, and the last couple of videos I posted were right next to the stage. You can literally see Janet's face without any issue. So we ended up getting really, really, really good seats, to the point where we're sitting in the middle, but 3 rows from the floor. So we had fantastic seats. So we're there. I'm enjoying the show. Obviously, had a phenomenal time. She sounded great. Her band. First off, obviously she's still amazing. Look, she's not Janet 20 years ago, 30 years ago. Look, she's 57 years old. I don't expect her to be great, to be like top of the line, top of the notch, what she was during Rhythm Nation years, Velvet Rope years. You can't expect that, but she was still great for what she was. And her band is amazing. Her band sounds amazing. And me being a musician who loves music as a whole, I appreciate that. So it was great. We had a great time up there. We were just hanging out, having a good time. I mean, my back was hurting a little bit too. My back was hurting. Again, these long concerts, not just long, but these concerts, if I'm at a concert more than 2 hours, my back starts to go out. I'm just getting old. So we're there having a good time. Me and my friend Pat and Jigger having a good time. While we're there, there were these 2 girls next to us, sitting next to us. And I guess they had meet and greet passes to meet Janet later on after the show. And I guess they didn't want the passes anymore. And for some reason, they decided to give us the passes. Sorry, my son needed a code. Decided to give us the passes for the to get back there. We thought they were going to charge us, but they said no, you can have it for free. I was like, holy shit, are you kidding me? We got passes to meet Janet Jackson? Holy crap! So I ended up getting so lucky. I went from having lawn seats to seats near the front and enjoying the show to now having the opportunity to meet Janet Jackson. And I was stunned. I was like, holy crap. Again, this is the bucket list for me. Not only to see her, but meeting her as well, too. Like I said, I've met Michael somewhat, years ago, and I've obviously seen him in concert, but that wasn't as formal. This has been a little more formal. So we got the passes. We ended up being able to get in line. It took about an hour or so before we were able to meet her. Went backstage after the show in like they were catering. They had a situation, they had a setup where a photography situation, when you do a photo shoot, for example, it's all blocked off. That's why they had it set up. The only thing is that we weren't able to take pictures of our phones. They made us put our phones away in a bag. All the people going to meet her put their phones in the bag, and they have it set up where we take the photos there through through Janet's management company, and then they give us a QR code, a paper, and they're going to upload the photos in a few days. Now today, they said 5 to 7 business days. It's been 5 days since then. I've checked it like countless times today, and so far I'm gonna check right now again because I have it set up here to whether or not it was uploaded yet. And it's still not uploaded yet. So you see my screen? Not yet. Not quite there yet. You can see my screen. See, no photos. West Palm Beach. So next couple days should be up. The pictures of me, Janet, and my friends Patrick and Jay Grow. Unfortunately, we weren't able to get solo photos because Janet had to go to the next city, which is Orlando. She had to get moving, so they made us do it in groups, which is fine. I didn't give a crap. As long as I was there, I didn't give a damn. So we waited about an hour. Eventually the line moved. We were able to meet her. I went up to her. I was wearing my Michael Jackson t-shirt, my Victory Tour t-shirt, which I love. And I said, "Hey, Jen, how are you?" and I told her she did a great job tonight. Whatever. I was able to talk to her. And the one thing I wanted to ask her more than anything else, because people ask me, well, you're gonna ask her when you meet Janet Jackson. You're gonna ask her. You're gonna ask her about Michael. You're gonna ask about. No, I'm gonna ask about Michael. No, why would I ask about Michael? She probably hears that shit all the time. That's just ridiculous. I'm gonna ask about Michael Jackson, my brother, who passed away 15 years ago. No, I'm not doing that. I'm gonna ask something about either about her music, about what she's doing, or something she cares about. Then I'm saying, I'm asking my mom, Mama Catherine Jackson, who's I believe 93 years old, 94 years old as of right now. So I remember, we took a picture. It was great. I was able to touch her back a little bit. I was very happy. And as I was leaving to say goodbye, I asked Janet, before I go, how was Mama Catherine doing? And she said she's doing very well. Thank you for asking. And I said, okay, thank you. God bless you. And I left and, get her little praying hands and I left. It was so nice. She was so sweet. I mean, obviously it wasn't, we couldn't have a conversation in a way, but I was able to talk to her. And she was so sweet. She was very petite in person too. Very petite. More petite than I thought. Like she obviously, in person, like on stage, you see her looks a little thicker, but in person, she's a lot shorter and a lot smaller too. Like she's like 5'3", I think, if I'm mistaken. Very, very sweet though. Very, very nice, very sweet. You can tell, you can see her very nice spirit about her. About her. Very, very cool. So it was great. I was very excited. I was able to tell my friends and family, like, hey, listen, I was going to meet Janet tonight. It was awesome. And I'll never forget it. It was, truly one of my best nights of my life. Like I said, she's sounded great. There's a great set. She's still kicking ass at 57 years old. I'm very proud of everything she's done. And she's truly one of the all-time greats, man. I really, really enjoy her music. I'm one of my top 10 favorite artists of all time. Truly one of the best nights of my life. Again, shout out to my friends Patrick and Jago for partaking that with me in a night which really meant a lot to me. Being someone that I really, really enjoyed and really admired for my entire life. And you guys know, the Jackson family as a whole means a lot to me anyway. Obviously, you guys know how big a fan of Michael I am, and anyway. But the entire family, for the most part, Janet especially, I've been a fan of hers since the Control album. My family itself, like my mother and myself, and we've always loved the Jacksons. So it's a big deal when we get to see them and meet them and all that. So we had a phenomenal time. I'm so glad I was able to meet her, and once again, a dream come true. And hopefully, once I get these pictures uploaded here, hopefully by her management team next couple of days, I'll be posting on my social media so you guys see it. So for proof that I did beat Janet Jackson. People were teasing me, like, oh, did you ask her out? My wife was going to tease me, did you ask her hand in marriage? all this crap. Look, it's a respect thing, man. She's just a phenomenal artist, and what she's done for the industry and what her family's done for this entire industry has been phenomenal. And I'm so glad I was able to have it ring true. And again, a night that, look, I'm just happy I was happy to be there on the lawn. The next thing you know, I went from the lawn to the front, like virtually front row seats, and then to actually meet the woman. Unbelievable. So happy for that. That was able to happen though. So, okay, now that's out of the way. A couple things here before we can bring on Zach. NFL season is like, well, training camp starts this week, NFL training camp. So every year I do this on the show when we get to training camp. Well, late July, I always start talking about storylines entering the camp. What 5 storylines I'm looking forward to this coming season that interest me entering training camp? I got 5 here. I want to touch on just real quick. The first storyline here, I'm interested, of course, is the Kansas City Chiefs, back-to-back Super Bowl champions. Can they be the first team in the Super Bowl era to three-peat? Do I take the Chiefs or the field? I mean, odds are the field most likely, but you got Patrick Mahomes in his prime right now. A Chiefs team that actually might be better than last year's. Because remember last year when the Chiefs, they were not as advertised. If you had told me by week 14, week 15 that this Chiefs team last year, the way they were playing, that they end up being back-to-back champions, I would have called you a liar. Everybody would have called you a liar, and yet they found a way to do it. You take the field maybe, but this team looks a little better on paper. They got some speedsters now and whatnot on the team. Travis Kelce's still a little older, but still really good. Their defense now, which in my opinion carried them to the Super Bowl last year. Pat Mahomes did a finishing job, but their defense is what kept them into the whole situation of being able to compete week to week. I would put the repeat chance. I would put the percentage chance of them repeating next year at about 40%. Because I do think that the tough part is that they play in a very tough AFC, but the Ravens are good. Bengals should be better this year now. Joe Burrow healthy again. The Dolphins are going to be pretty decent this year. See what the Jets are going to be doing. The Chargers are going to be much better in the division now. Now we have Jim Harbaugh as head coach. You have the Texans on the up and up. So there's a lot of landmines in the AFC. But again, this Chiefs team's battle tested. This is very battle tested. So we'll see. We'll see how that goes. But Chiefs in the field, I could put a 40% chance of them repeating. It's a pretty high number though, considering everything. Second most intriguing storyline for me entering training camp is the Pittsburgh Steelers quarterback carousel. As you know, they got Russell Wilson on a sweetheart deal, and they also have Justin Fields. So who's the starting quarterback? Russell Wilson is reportedly the starting quarterback, but anything can happen. Anything can happen. I know they're saying the right things right now, but anything can happen going forward. We'll see how that plays out. I'm very much looking forward to how everything plays out there in the Steelers. That's going to be a very it could be potentially volatile, but I trust the Steelers, culture to get to keep things within controlled and whatnot. I am curious. To me, this is Russell Wilson's really his last chance to really prove that he can still be that guy. Not even elite, just being solid. I mean, look, he was pretty solid last year in moments in Denver. I still argue that Sean Payton, head coach of the Broncos, did him dirty, and this, he wanted to start fresh with his own system, his own quarterback and all nine. I think Russell Wilson could have done a good job this year in Denver. Had Sean Payton get a fair shot. That's the hero there. So, but we'll see if Russell Wilson remains starting quarterback. His last shot, Justin Fields, of course, his future could be up in the air as well too. We'll see how that plays out. Third intriguing storyline of the entering training camp: Aaron Rodgers take 2 for the Jets. Can Aaron Rodgers stay healthy? Can the Jets, who on paper look really, really well, look really good, who should be a playoff team this year? I don't know. What's their ceiling? Their ceiling is probably AFC title game, maybe a Super Bowl appearance. I think if they play the cards right, I mean, they have a great roster, but we haven't seen Aaron Rodgers play good football in quite a while. I just realized that. Because remember, his last year in Green Bay wasn't his best year. He had moments, but it wasn't great. And then last year, he played 4 snaps and then towards Achilles in the first game of the year as Buffalo. So, which Rodgers are we getting here? Is Rodgers going to be healthy? Is going to be focused? We've seen some weird signs now with him entering mini camp and whatnot. He missed mandatory camp. Got fined for that, of course. Some weird optics going on with him. Aaron Rodgers is a weird guy, as you know, but he's still, when he's on top of his game, he's still a top 10 quarterback in the league. Is he still that guy? It's been well over a year since we've seen Aaron Rodgers really play football in a way that he's, it's been honestly, 2 years almost since we've seen Aaron Rodgers play quality football. Can he get back to being that guy? We'll see. The fourth intriguing storyline for me entering training camp: NFC North, Packers versus Lions. This is going to be probably the best race of the season for the division. Green Bay with a bounce back last year. Detroit was literally a quarter for one in the Super Bowl last year. It's going to be interesting to see how everything plays out there. Jordan Love, his situation now, he's reportedly not reporting to camp or something like that. He wants an extension. He believes he's a $50 million a year quarterback. We'll see how that goes. I don't know if he is or isn't. Sample size is pretty small. Detroit, can they get back to where they were last year? Can they become consistently good now? Because now they're on that level now. Now they're no longer the hunter, they're the hunted. Even though they're not winning, they haven't won a Super Bowl, they were in the Final Four last year. So now there's an expectation for Detroit to be good next year. Can they sustain that next year, this coming season? We shall see. I think they're still a playoff team, but will they win the North again this year? Green Bay is pretty good. Green Bay ended the year year strong last year. We'll see. And then, of course, finally for me, the fifth and final intriguing storyline for me entering training camp is on the personal end. Daniel Jones will bust. That's simple. This is it. If Daniel Jones is and Daniel Jones doesn't have to not just be good enough. Daniel Jones has to be better, his best year, and better than he was 2 years ago before he got the extension. He's got to clear that bar, or else it's over for him. Because you signed a 4-year deal worth $160 million. It was really in if you look at the brass tacks, it's really 2 years, $80 million. And so the Giants can actually get out of this contract relatively clean at the end of this year, which is pretty likely to do unless Jones has a phenomenal season. Their defense looks good on paper. Their front seven anyway. But they lose Saquon Barkley. They gave Jones some weapons here on receivers, some young receivers here. Should be able to hold okay. Look, they committed $4 million a year to this guy. This is it. Get it done, shit on the pot, or move. So, Dan Jones or bust for me moving forward. And we'll see how that plays out. But I'm really, really curious. This is it for him. Either he gets it done this year, or Joe Shane and the Giants are out on the Dan Jones thing, if you want to call that. So that's my 5 most intriguing storylines entering training camp this week. All right, before we get bring on Zach, a couple house cleaning things I want to take care of here. A lot of people are asking about the my other podcasts I do. I have the Unfiltered podcast, which is like a time-sensitive thing. So that show, which I've been doing for years, obviously, but it's more of a thing I do, like one topic-centric thing I do once a moon, sometimes audio only, sometimes video, depends how I'm feeling. That show, I am planning on making it more of a video series now going forward on YouTube, my YouTube page. Same idea, topic-centric. Won't be every day necessarily either, but I'm gonna do that where it's a video series on things that I care about. Same things. Make that more a video thing going forward. Basketball retrospective. People ask me about when I'm doing that retro pod. I've been playing for like a year and a half now. Honestly, it's on the back burner right now. This summer's been kind of wild because while I probably would have done more this summer, to be honest with you, even when I said I wanted to take my way into doing podcasts, this show and everything else going forward, we have still done enough consistent shows on this feed to keep everything palatable. But in lieu of that show, that project, I say, not really a show, it's a project, has suffered. So I'm not going to touch right now. I'm not promising anything. I'm hoping to start doing episodes of that show probably later in the year when basketball's back. But as you guys know, with this podcast, especially too during the fall, we are absolutely busy. Football season, we are locked in, and to boot, we have the election coming up too, also. And you guys know how we get down with that. We are absolutely locked in with the election too. So, with that being said, we're gonna put that one on hold for now. Now, the wrestling retro podcast, which I've been doing consistently for a year, and I halted in May. I didn't purposely halt it though. It just kind of happened. Schedules kind of worked out, didn't work out. Some of the guests I had planned to come to the shows. Things happened, and then 1 week turned into 2 weeks, turned into a month, and then so on and so on. That show I will bring back very soon. I don't know when exactly. I'm hoping to bring back some episodes in August. That's the plan. I'm going to probably mid-August. I'm targeting to do an episode at least going forward. I don't know if I'll do that show as consistent as I was this last year, especially because again, my recording schedule is very limited in terms of being able to do shows. And we got, like I said, fall time is one of the most is absolutely the most busiest time of this show, and I don't want to lose sight of that. This show is the main priority, and especially when we have football coming up very soon. You got the election coming up very soon. You have basketball coming around the corner again, especially on other things going on. I have other projects too, also around that I'm doing on this feed as well too. So the rest of Retro Pod will still be here. I'm hoping to drop an episode very soon. Not just only the shows I do with the guests I have with the Roger Longs and all that, but I might also bring some shorter episodes too on top of that on that feed as well. So we'll see how that goes. I am planning. If that show is not the first priority, it's probably at least second priority for me. Unfiltered, of course, we'll build that around that according to what's going on, but that one's a little bit easier to attack for the most part. That'll be a topic-centric thing, video series we'll do going forward. But the Wrestling Retro podcast will be back very soon Most likely mid-August though, to be safe. Because that seems to be the top time of the year where I have more open time to record something that's not this show. But I also I'm gonna probably take a little slight break before the season starts too. Also, like I said, once late August or something comes around, that's NFL football, but also college football too as well. So we'll see how that goes. But that is the plan of work going forward. So, but like I said, we'll have stuff ready for you guys, ready to go. We have content on this feed. Of course, all my content's on my YouTube page at youtube.com/Earnest Christian. Of course, this podcast, each of those shows has its own podcast feed too as well. So check those out as well too on any podcast catcher. And with that, let's bring on Zack The Degenerate as we discuss a whole myriad of things: politics, football, and we're going to talk a little men's Olympics, men's basketball, and if whether or not they're in trouble or not. So here's Zack The Degenerate coming up. All right, we're joined here now by, of course, America's favorite degenerate, but also my favorite degenerate in the whole world, Zack. You know, football's around the corner, so we're gonna start ramping up these podcasts now. You and I, how you doing, buddy?
I'm good, man. You don't even realize football's here till you start hearing about how teams are reporting. Then you get excited.
Yeah, exactly. Like I started, like, I'll be honest with you, I don't typically, like, especially recent years, I don't get too excited about football until probably into middle late August. Like, training camp, no big deal, preseason season, whatever. But I'm like all over it until probably we get to the season preview we do on the show, which we will do again for the 13th straight year. But like I'm actually more excited now this early than I've been in a very long time. Like I don't know, it's a lot, and not to say it's boring right now. We got a lot going on in politics, got a lot going on. You know, obviously the Olympics coming up very soon. So got a lot to occupy our time right now. But I'm excited for football. I really am. But we'll hold football for a minute because we went on top politics here, and we and I having a conversation on text earlier today about all the going ons. Like I tell you what, man, this I say last month, and yeah, that is apropos. The last week to 10 days alone. Whew, I mean, where do you start? The RNC feels first off, Trump's assassination attempt feels like months ago. The RNC feels like weeks ago. And now we have Joe Biden jumping on the race on Sunday. Kamala Harris is the presumptive nominee for the Democratic Party. Supposedly she has enough delegates to cross the finish line by the time we get to the convention next month. Your thoughts on everything that's transpired in the last couple of days with the Democratic Party?
Corrupt. It is absolutely corrupt. When we had individuals trying to have a primary against Joe Biden, just trying to have a debate against him, they were shutting down debates, shutting down primaries, saying, no, there's zero primary. We're not having a primary because we have an incumbent. Yet, every single one of these people had interactions with Biden. Everybody knew he was old as fucking Jesus and thinking he was seeing Jesus on the daily. All right, he was lost. So, I'm sorry. Now you're going to come in only after he had a bad debate. Because if he'd have had a good debate, they wouldn't be doing this shit.
I agree.
And anytime he did go in front of a camera, he looked like someone suffering from Alzheimer's or Parkinson's. He couldn't remember which one of his sons is alive, let alone whether or not they served. It was bad. So now they wait until 3 months before an election, and instead of even having the open primary, they have already decided who's going to have the torch and go against Trump. If you want to say there's an election fraud, this is an election fraud. To me, this tells me that the elites in power have taken over, and that they were literally trying to see how far they could get away with taking over a political party.
Well, we're not surprised about the whole corrupt part because we've been saying since the midterms that I've been since the midterms. You've been since the midterms. I know Mark Francois on his podcast since the midterms. All left-leaning people. That Joe Biden should not run for re-election, and it was nothing to do with him being old. Like There are old people who are in the 80s that are very sharp. Nancy Pelosi, whether or not you agree with her politics, she's very sharp. She can do the job. Okay. The problem is with Joe Biden is that he looks old, not only is he old, he looks like he's not functionable. And the Democrats have been lying to us for God knows how long about this. Okay.
At least 8 months.
The primary process was corrupt. There was no real primary process. Like stop. Now, did they do the right thing here and force Biden out? Yes, they did. They had to. Because if the name of the game was beating Trump in November, Joe Biden was not going to do it. There was no path. Right. I didn't see a path at all between now and November because Joe Biden's going to get worse. So from that aspect, and look, my only goal right now at this point is to beat Trump. Like, look, I have many problems with the Democratic Party. You and I, we speak about that all the time, a lot on this podcast. But right now, the goal is for me to beat Donald Trump. If Project 2025 is really a threat, if democracy is really on the line, as you keep preaching over and over and over and over again, then act like it. Joe Biden should not be a last line defense. And that was my whole point for the last 18 months.
Well, I remember a guy in the midterms who had no hope. I thought there was going to be a massive red wave. That was you.
Right. And didn't I tell you also back then?
I told you there wasn't. I told you because of the abortion, there was no way.
Right. And you're right. But what did I say to also was one of the cabinets I said that back in 2022 that the only negative about that now was that Joe Biden, I say Joe Burrow, Joe Biden in his mind was going to say, oh, well, I'm pretty viable. No, I still held firm back then. He still shouldn't run. That's the only thing. That's one thing I did get right.
So here's my question.
Go ahead.
Living in the state of Florida.
Yes.
Do you really believe voting for Kamala is going to save you from Trump?
In Florida, no. Florida's a lean red state now. There's no chance he's in Florida.
So then, as a person living in Florida who is a Democrat, I strongly suggest you vote for anybody but a Democrat. If you live in a state, in a red state, where it's solidly red and you are a Democrat,
or solidly blue,
no way.
Right.
There should be no way you vote for a Democrat. Because what you just signed on to is saying, I am party affiliated. Mm-hmm. I don't care what that person actually believes, what they stand for. I'm just going to take what they give me and vote for them because they tell me the boogeyman is on the other side.
We are 100% sure that Trump is winning Florida, no matter what, right? There's nothing that's going to happen, you believe, right?
I don't see any way. Even with abortion on the amendment and legal weed, I just don't see it.
Yeah. Democrats here in the state is not well liked anymore.
Well, no, here's why I say that. Because raising the minimum wage, that's a Democratic idea.
Yep.
And we got 60% in our red state.
Yep.
And yet, I think on that same year of that vote, didn't DeSantis win by like 80%? So wasn't that bill signed in 2018 though? That was when him and Gillum had the tight race. So again, wasn't that when DeSantis won then?
Yeah, by 1%.
1%.
That was a close race.
Okay.
That was a close race. Yeah.
And then he comes out, but I'm pretty sure it was more recently than that.
No, the re-election campaign he crushed Charlie Crist. Sorry.
Yeah.
Right.
And that I'm pretty certain this was against Charlie Crist when we voted for, not during the other one.
No, for the minimum wage.
Yeah.
No, that was 2018 because that's been going up for the last couple of years now.
Yeah. 2018, it's 2024. It's only gone up to $12. So if you're only saying it's gone up a couple years, you're going back to like 2022.
Yeah, but that election, the election he beat Crist on was a year and a half ago.
Yes.
Right, but okay. For example,
that was in 2022, right?
Right, but those amendments still were on the bill in 2018, though. I'm trying to tell you. Remember Claire's Day.
If it was 2018, then you know what would be the minimum wage in the state of Florida now?
What?
15. It's not 15.
But it's gone up $1 every year since 2019. Yes.
So
So I've had in my case I've had 4 jumps already now. I've had 4 jumps since then. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Not 2.
All right.
Yeah.
I'll look it up.
Yeah. So,
I'm pretty
but anyway.
sure. Yeah.
Okay. Everything aside, to our discuss with the Democratic Party process aside, and believe me, you and I have a lot of discuss with that, and those things definitely are, something we can talk about in the years and days that are to come. Kamala Harris is the presidential nominee. You said today in text that you still have a lot of doubts that she can be Trump.
I do.
Why?
Why? Again, what does she stand for? What do you remember she stands for?
Gee, because her campaign ended with Festa began. That's why.
She had 1% when she tried to run, and that was
Right.
2020. To pretend like people have any faith in her or would rally behind her is a joke.
Yeah.
And all they're going to do is play how she went to the border and said there wasn't a problem as vice president.
Yeah.
They're going to play the Tulsi Gabbard thing from when they were on the debate stage. And what does she say? Has she spoken out against what's been going on in Israel, Palestine?
For what I've seen on the issue, and again, the Gaza issue is something I already said was going to cost Biden election, because of voter apathy.
So now you have a black woman married to a Jewish white man. You really think they're not going to be right there with the Israeli side?
She is definitely still probably pro Israel, but I think between her and Joe Biden, she has shown a little more restraint on that in comparison. My whole point this morning in our text was this.
That's because she hasn't had to make a decision, though.
Right. My point is this, though. I think when you look at the two options, Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, and look, I still think that it's still likely that Trump wins the election. But I think there's way more upside to Kamala being in the race now in comparison to Donald Trump, coming to Joe Biden, because Joe Biden was only going to get worse. The conditions were going to get worse. He wasn't going to stop gaffing out of nowhere. He's going to gaff until January 20th. This is going to happen. At the very least, Kamala Harris gives you a fair shot at this. Okay, the polling, she was polling the last 6 weeks better than Joe Biden against Trump. Now, still behind by 1%, but still, there's at least a shot in the dark for her. I'd say better than a shot in the dark, to be honest with you. At the very least, now, she energizes the base. Now, does that sustain itself moving forward in the next 4 months? That's the question to be answered in the months to come. But at the very least, I would say the Democrats have a better shot now being Trump than they did before Sunday. That's where I'll stand at. I'm not saying you're wrong with Trump, because I think Trump could still win this election. I'm just saying that between Kamala and Joe, it's no brainer.
Really?
Yeah.
So if we were going to think about the Democratic voters who were voting for a Democratic nominee, I would say Biden pretty much had the older population locked up.
You think they're going? Do you think they're going somewhere else now? Kamala's in the race now?
Absolutely.
I disagree with 100%.
Wait, you think a bunch of old white people who literally voted for Biden because they felt safe voting for him are now going to feel comfortable voting for a black woman?
Yeah. The liberals on the side. Yeah, okay. This is not the
They're
same.
They're not liberals. Stop thinking the 81 million Americans that voted Democrat are all liberal.
So you think these people are going to not vote for Kamala Harris now?
Wait, you really believe that same hardcore older population that trusted Biden over Trump is going to go with Kamala?
Okay, we're talking about.
And what group is Kamala Harris bringing to the party?
Are these Democratic voters somewhere here, or are we talking about like independent voters? Because if
we're just talking Democrat. We're talking Democrat. The expected groups that vote primarily are older Americans. Then it's white Americans. So I'd like to know which one of those two big groups, because you need a lot of votes, that Kamala Harris is bringing.
Well, we'll see what her campaign's on. We'll see if she pivots on Biden a little bit on with her own agenda. We'll see about that. I just don't think Democratic older folks are gonna abandon Kamala. Maybe I can see independents be doing that, maybe and going to Trump, maybe, but not Democrats. Not and look, I would have believed you if it was a normally Republican running against her. That I believe you. Donald Trump is a much bigger threat than that. That's all I'm gonna say.
She
in their eyes, anyway.
You really believe she can stand on the stage with Trump in a debate?
I think she could.
Really? Yeah. I know he's gonna hit her with, "Oh look, you slept your way to the top with the governor."
But you know what?
And then tried to sue the governor.
But
oh wait, we can't. You held people who were in jail out after their time in jail. You held them fighting forest fires like they were slaves. You really think he's not going to chew her up?
Here's where I disagree with you on that. Republicans don't get to play the morality play here because you got a guy that's a convicted felon, okay, twice impeached guy, okay. You don't get to play the morality card when your candidate right now is literally worse than she is on that. So
he's a felon for what? Taking money donated.
It's still on record.
That every American knows what he was.
And I agree that case is stupid anyway, but still, it's on record.
Yeah. So Americans don't see him as a felon. They see that as a bullshit charge.
No, his supporters don't see it as a felon. That's a big difference. His supporters don't see him as a felon. Again, this race is coming down to 20% of the electorate, or 30% of the electorate. I don't know what numbers you classify independents, NPAs, people who are in the middle, who are undecided.
Right.
That's what it comes down to. You can have a cure to cancer. MAGA ain't voting for Kamala. That vote is gone. Vice versa with the Democrats also too. Come down to the middle. That's all. It comes down the middle. That's it. That's all I'll say.
Real quick again, what group is she bringing to come vote?
I think the independents that were very fearful of voting for Biden because of the age issue and whatnot, at the very least. So here's the thing about the age issue was a massive issue when it came to independence in the last couple of years. That is off the table now when it comes to Kamala.
No, that part is off the table. You're correct.
But that's massive though, because that was a major issue for them. Because otherwise, Joe Biden was a normie Democrat for the most part.
Yeah, she couldn't get 1% just 4 years ago. Who is getting behind her?
Look at the fundraising, man. And by the way, the fundraising they raised. By the way, as of today, as of like 5 o'clock this afternoon, she has raised in 48 hours $231 million. By the way, that is also grassroots because the average donations is $37. I did some research.
Yeah, you know what I see when I see these? Because I get all these texts for make a donation. It says you get a 700% match. Whatever you donate, we will times it by 700%. Because there's a pack. Just a bunch of rich people with money funneling it in, matching your donation. That's why I'm saying, please don't call it a grassroots.
Here's what I'll say, and we'll close out with some of this one. I want to see the polling in the next. I want this to bake 2 weeks before the convention. See where the polling stands. So nationally speaking, Kamala was only 1% behind Trump. Biden was 2% behind going before Sunday. Okay, I want to see polling in 2 weeks since after the change. I want to see polling after the convention in August, and at that point by September we'll have a little bit better idea where this thing stands. With her having a month under her belt, and if this thing can actually win or not. Again, I'm with you. I think Trump is still a favorite, but I think Kamala has way more upside than Joe Biden. That's not even a question mark. Joe Biden should not even committed to run for re-election 2 years ago. So you and I stand on that one. And for the record, I'm with you. There should be a primary. 100% with you. There should be a primary. That is the most democratic thing to do. We're not going to have that. So,
but you know what? It almost doesn't matter to have the primary because they still kept their super delegates. So
I know that
even if you win your primary in the state, the super delegates can come over and trump it.
You also pathetic too. Also,
there was nothing democratic in the nomination of who runs for the Democratic primary.
I totally agree with you, 100%, 1,000% agree with you on that one. Totally agree with you on that one.
So,
You know, but I'm not a Democrat, so I can't sit there and get mad about it. I'm not part of the party, so I can't do anything about it. I'm not a member of the party. I'm an MPA. You can. I think you're a Democrat still, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, but I think I voted for more people out of the Democratic Party than you.
I know you have.
So
yeah.
At least I'm honest.
In the last 10 years, maybe in the last like 10 years, yeah.
Yeah. I'm honest in my affiliations and still go against them. I don't pretend to be non-affiliated and then vote party down.
I've done all the way through. I've done that all the way through. Come on. No, I vote for Republicans in recent years.
That sounds like I vote for the Republican judges.
I vote for.
Which is
yeah, and
worse. That's the absolute worst thing because you see what that's done.
No, actually, judge, I went Democrat. Actually, no. I voted. I think I was Rep. 2 Republican in the past, though. Last 10 years. I only started voting down ballot Democrat in the last like maybe 2-3 cycles because I was disgusted with the party in general. I did out of resentment for the GOP. And look, I'm saying that as a former member of the GOP. We met. Remember, we met 20 years ago. You and I. We were friends 20 years, by the way, for the record. I don't remember that.
Yeah.
And you met me, and I was a Bush supporter. Remember that? And you gave me shit for that. Remember?
No,
that fucking war criminal. Remember that?
20
years ago when Bush got reelected, I voted for Bush, and you gave me shit for that.
Oh, then yeah, you deserve it.
Yeah,
I don't even think you should be allowed to vote.
Oh, shut the fuck up.
Honest God, if you only voted for Bush a second time, I don't think you should
war
be allowed
criminal.
to vote.
No, right. War criminal. I get it. In hindsight, I regret it when everything's played out. The 4 years after that, I regret it. Trust me, it's why I left the party.
Yeah.
It's why I left the party in the first place. So technically, Bush is the reason why I left the Democratic Party 3 years later. So, all right. So now that's on the books. 2 more things to touch on. Get you out of here. Are you worried about the men's Olympic team? The men's basketball Olympic team? The 5-0 in these exhibitions, though, but these games been close.
Man, I'm not even sure they're going to win a bronze medal. Like, you literally had to come within the last 10 seconds of a game against the South Sudan. Let's go back to putting college kids in. It's a fucking embarrassment for the U.S. pros.
Ooh, that's a hot take.
No, serious. It's South Sudan you're playing, and you have to come to 10 seconds to go and have a 40-year-old man save you. It's an embarrassment for those men. And the fact they want to be held up as a standard bearer for our country, dude, you're a fucking joke right now.
I acknowledge that the world has caught up to us in the last 2 decades, I'm going to call it.
South Sudan has caught up to us.
No, South Sudan. And by the way, South Sudan, who reportedly does not even have an indoor gym.
So, reportedly. I'm sorry.
But I'm not worried about them winning the gold because I think ultimately why blow your load for exhibition games? It's like, these games don't matter.
I don't think they even think any of the Olympic Games matter anymore. All they care about is making sure they stay healthy and get their next $60 million contract. Or they can say, oh, I'm taking 52 instead of 54 because I'm a good guy for the team. Oh, can you give my son $2 million a year? Unlike any other second-round draft pick in history.
I mean,
second-rounders don't get paid that much in the NFL.
You could be right. No, but I'm not too worried. Look, I think this game's be competitive. I think it's okay to be competitive. These are exhibition games. Okay, why blow your load for games that don't matter in the end? Now, if I see the first 2 games and these games are relatively close, like the same way these 5 games have been out the gate in the Olympics, then I'm a little worried. But then again, the only thing to be worried about is the fact that why is LeBron James still your best player? Oldest guy on the team is still your best player.
Yeah.
Where's everybody else?
I don't even know if he really is, but they hate to give the ball to AD to score. They really just want AD to rebound and pretend to try and block shots.
Well, I'm not too worried. Let's see game 1 and game 2 out the shoot. Let's see if those 2 games, if they start sluggish. If they start sluggish, even though win the games, Will they win the gold? Yes, they will win the gold. I'm confident win the gold. Style points kind of matters though for us because we're so used to seeing this team dominate. But the world has caught up. I will say the world has caught up.
I can't remember when they dominated with LeBron.
2008 was pretty dominant, fairly
2008
dominant.
Didn't they finish with the bronze that year?
No, that's 04. That's 04. That's 04. The redeem team, the team with Kobe and LeBron was the 08 was the team that won the gold. Redeem team.
Sure.
Well, wait, watch the documentary. It's pretty good on Netflix. All right, one last. Unless you've already seen it already.
So real quick.
Go ahead.
If the U.S. does lose the bronze medal match, are we gonna have a conversation about how I saw that happening?
Oh, you get bro. If they get silver, I'm disappointed. Gold or bust. You got the best players in the world playing on this team right now. I don't give a shit how old they are. LeBron James is still top 10 player in the league right now currently. Steph Curry top 10 player in the league currently. You got all the guys, Jason Tatum's and Steph
Tatum's
Curry,
top 10,
top 5 possibly.
10.
Yeah, no excuses. I don't hear shit.
Huh?
Even with teams the world catch up to us, they should still win the gold. How dominant they look, that's a different story. I also win the games. I don't give a damn. All right, last thing we got here, a little football talk. Look, we're going to be back next month. We're going to be doing you and Chris going to be doing our ranking the quarterbacks in each conference. We got 2 episodes. We'll bring up to 2 episodes in August. Then of course our season preview later in August as well too, of the NFL. I want to talk about Jordan Love though. Jordan Love probably is. You said holding in. I said holding out. Holding in. For a new deal, a new extension. Green Bay Packers quarterback. What's your thoughts on Jordan Love in the situation? Is he worth extending a lot of money? Do you need to see more?
Oh, I gotta see a whole nother season before I, as a GM, ever give someone $40+ million. Because I wouldn't even give him Daniel Jones contract right now. Yeah, I get it's at 2 years, $80 million basically, but I don't even know if I give Jordan Love that. He struggled for the first half of the season before he got going. Maybe it was just the fluke part of that one little bit of his career was going to be great, but I would never give a guy with that few games that much money.
Yeah, I'm with you too. Look, I'm not saying he's not good enough. I'm not saying that he can be great. I got to see more. I'm with you. We saw 2 quarterbacks last year. Now, granted, the team was banged up too. Also, receivers were out beginning of the year. Once they got healthy, of course, things turned around. But at the same time, that happens, and you're the quarterback. You got to find ways to be better and find ways to win. I just got to see more. I mean, I don't even think he's a $50 million. Is he worth right now, based on what we know right now? Is he worth $50 million a year right now, based on what we have? I agree, he's not. However, that is the market right now for quarterbacks. We'll see. Is Jordan Love also a top 10 quarterback to you right now in the league?
No,
I agree as well too.
Be top
I agree.
10. Yeah, and so I want to say this so it doesn't sound like I'm hating on the guy.
Right.
But you played maybe 10 games where you excelled.
Mm-hmm.
If I commit to you at $50 million for 5 years and you struggle, the team struggles for 5 years, the city struggles for 5 years. Now, we drafted you in the first round. Another team might have waited to the second round, the very start of the second round, like Carolina. And you could have played your first season out the gate there and sucked and be out of the league now. So I get you're making $14 million and you want to make a lot more. Well, if you excelled this coming up season, you're probably going to be the first quarterback that gets $60 million a year. But I won't give you even $40 million until you played all of next season.
Yeah. Look, he's not there now based on what we have, but he's on the way. That's what I will say. He's on the way. If what we saw at the end of last year continues and he picks up, even if he sustains that, I would say, yeah, pay him. Why not?
Absolutely.
But we got to see more of that before we commit to that. Because once you're paying a quarterback, that means we're not going to be able to pay receivers and other ancillary pieces. You need to once start paying quarterback that kind of money, that means you can't pay anybody else. That's simple. And that's the same situation the Cowboys have right now with Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott, same thing. Now, Dak Prescott, in his case, he's a lot older. He's a top 10-ish quarterback. I'll say he's top 10, but probably number 10, number 9. But he's not. You're not going to get, if you pay Dak Prescott that kind of money now, you're paying that with knowing that you're not going to pay. You're going to get probably the best of him. His best years may be right behind him at this point. So, yeah. But I agree. Jordan Love needs to wait, and that's just that. So, anyway, Zach, that was fun. Quick and easy. We'll be doing our rankings, AFC quarterbacks, NFC quarterbacks in a couple weeks with Chris. That's gonna be a lot of fun. So, anything else you want to add before we get out of here?
No, man. Good luck in November because your marriage may not be allowed.
What do you mean? You mean politics?
Yeah.
Yeah, those bastards.
No, but hey, Daniel Jones got a chance at being comeback player of the year.
Ain't happening.
He's only got to beat Aaron Rodgers for comeback player of the year. Kirk Cousins. There's a couple of quarterbacks.
He will not be in New York Giant beyond this year. So I'm ready. I'm ready to sit on that.
Really?
No.
What if he has like a Jordan Love type season?
No. I already said it on the top of this podcast. He needs to clear the bar of 2 years ago. He can't be just as good as 2 years ago. He's got to be way better than 2 years ago to even extend him again. No.
Yeah, you mean average at least one touchdown pass a game?
Yeah, exactly. You made my point. Zach, get out of here. Good job.
Yeah, man. Take it easy.
All right, buddy. Later.